First of all, he got cooked by his opponent rolling higher than him, so Giuseppe will be leading off here in this last round of the day. You can see their scores. They're both 7-0. Not a single match they have dropped, which is an insane record at this point. And if they win this last round here, that is a very good position for the second day.
Especially with the way tiebreakers are looking like it's going to be for the top 32. You definitely want to pick up as many wins as possible and keep that clean sheet for as long as you possibly can. And EXO ending out on the day here today would be a very, very respectable record. Losing the coin... keep calling it coin flip because of the ongoing Duelist Cup. But yeah, losing the dice roll here with Ritual Beast is a little bit rough, but there are some tools to be able to get back in this going second, right, Leo?
Absolutely. We have seen Julio Valls at Euros playing so many board breakers, field breaking cards like Dark Ruler No More, evenly matched. And I'm very curious to see if he is bringing some of those for Giuseppe here as well.
Yeah, I'm wondering, did they limit the Dark Beckoning Beast of the opening of the Spirit Gates? Because I see all of them just opening the opening. It's kind of crazy. Like, we always see them opening the one-off, which arguably is worse than opening the Dark Beckoning Beast, to be funny. To be fair.
Used to be fine because of the Chaos Summoning Beast, with people now cutting it because of the fact that it's at one. But hey, it works out anyway, as we already have the Lotus that we can then extra normal summon using the Beckoning Beast's continuous effect. That's going to be able to summon out the Spirit of Yubel, searching out Nightmare Pain. And from here, you can do a lot of swarming onto the field and a bunch of special summons. And on summon number 5, of course, most important of all, you do want to get that all-important Phantom of Yubel insulating against Nibiru.
Yep, Nibiru is a card that has been stopping combo decks for years, but of course the players have developed technologies to play around it, like setting up negates before the 5th summon, or with the 5th summon.
And to be honest, I don't think I've seen an impactful Nibiru all weekend long. It doesn't really seem to be the format for Nibiru right now. To be fair though, against the specific deck of Herman Hansen, this might be one of the best matchups for Nibiru, to be honest.
I'm not too sure about that. I'm very sure that Nadir can say something.
Go ahead.
Let me cook up some lines for you. So a lot of 2-card combos do actually insulate you against Nibiru quite well. Elder, Kanahawk, Rampengu, E-Telly plus another Spiritual Beast, and the spell. Different 2-3-card combinations do get you into the Ulti Gaia Paleo, which is a contact fusion that requires a Spiritual Beast Tamer, a Spiritual Beast, as well as one of the extra deck monsters that you can then contact fuse them away, and that allows you to negate Nibiru in the process. So there are tools available to Ritual Beast so that it can actually play through that Nibiru. And I think we've seen, as you mentioned, over the years, there's just been a lot of this almost arms race between these new themes, trying to come up with different combos and ways to keep pushing, and of course having ways to be able to insulate themselves against such a powerful hand trap.
A true expert, honestly. That was some pretty good insight. My experience with the deck, though, just came from basically casting the European Championship, and every time I saw a Nibiru there against the Ritual Beast deck, it seemed insane. Like, every single time it just ended their turn completely. And then also at the World Championship, where of course Julio Valls, who's not present here this weekend, played the Ritual Beast all the way to top 8. He had the same problem kind of in his featured match too. So sure, those 2-card combos apparently exist, but they never get resolved for some reason.
I mean, it was him all along, right? Also at Euros and at the World Championships, and I think maybe he just doesn't care about Nibiru. He just doesn't respect it at all.
Yeah, it's quite a vulnerable deck in that regard. You do need a decent amount of different combinations to be able to push through, but also Ritual Beast is not a simple deck to play.
Oh, yeah.
When you play something like Yubel, for example, there are fairly linear combos. Ritual Beast does have some linear combos, but a lot of it is involving a bunch of freestyling. And that's kind of like one of the, I suppose, negatives in some way, because you are technically playing what is probably a weaker deck, and that the ceiling is much lower than what, for example, Yubel can put out. But you are trying to do all of these intrinsic different little plays where you're constantly tracking every single name in your deck and how many times you summon it, because each Ritual Beast can only be special summoned once per turn.
It is playing Yu-Gi-Oh! On hard mode, basically.
Yeah, basically. And speaking of hard mode here, we have Phantom up, we have Varadras, and now we're going to go and probably end on a Desiree as well. So a huge, powerful swarming potential of Yubel. And it was also possible last format, right? Like, Yubel hasn't really lost any of its ceiling, any of its power, but because of the fact that Snake Eye has kind of fallen off a little bit because of its lack of resilience to the disruption, Yubel can sort of fill that niche and that gap that Snake Eye did previously hold.
Yeah, for sure. And we see here, and that is more of a recent trend, I want to say, that Giuseppe is on the Chamber, which is, of course, the Unchained trap that summons an Unchained monster from the graveyard. Like, 99% of the time you're going to summon Outrage. And I think before the list, a lot more people were playing the Escape, and now it has developed a trend, because now, of course, more people are playing that Yubel deck as it's supposedly the best deck in the room, and therefore, of course, more people are also kind of making progress with the deck, developing the deck a little further, and it seems way more common, because what I've heard is that this, even though the other card also plays around Dark Ruler no more, this plays around Dark Ruler no more even better, to be honest.
To be honest, there's also there's also another reason why you're playing it, and that is cards like Sphere Mode and Lava Golem that have been creeping back into the game a little bit more, and once your cards get tributed away, you can just summon them back out. And this is also something that the Chamber is protecting you from, where Escape is just basically lying on the field.
Pretty much every single non-Yubel Snake Eye combo pile is running Lava Golem or Sphere Mode, some kind of mass removal to be able to deal with these crazy Yubel fields, just to take away every single point of interruption. I mean, you would imagine what a Sphere Mode could do here, but yeah, it is a very popular card. We haven't seen it resolve on stream yet, but I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if we did see that come into play. Now you can see here Herman patiently waiting, the 0 disruptions coming down, and that's because he is playing a whole bunch of field-breaking power spells, as well as Evenly as well might even be in there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
so
it's
Herman,
also in the hand.
how do we go there?
It doesn't lead with it, however. Wait, hang on. Is
that it?
It definitely is evenly, but I think we're trying to bait out to then, of course, make it resolve against the Desiree that is on the field there, I guess. And also the Varudras, right? So, like, we kind of want to get things out here and then have a real crucial evenly after, maybe.
My only fear is that there's a potential risk of leaving too many bodies up on the field. Now, while you could potentially
crash them.
Yeah,
that's the thing, right?
Definitely not. That's the entire point of Yubel, funnily enough.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a risk here. You know, maybe it is safe to just go battle instantly, guarantee that Varadras or the Desiree is used out, and then try and play main phase 2. But Herman, of course, has been playing only these decks for the entirety of day 1 and is undefeated. So he definitely knows what he's trying to do here.
Okay, and we start things off with the ulti Canahawk, of course. Contact fusing, like good old Gladiator beasts, of course, also the Ritual beasts do that. Just putting those cards
and Gladiator
away.
beasts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you said that, yeah.
Thanks for adding it again.
All the beasts just contact fuse, apparently. That's their thing.
Yeah.
Is there another deck that does that?
How many beast decks can you think of? Like beast in the name. Ritual beast, Gladiator beast. Must be another somewhere.
I mean, Phantom of Yubel is like an absurd way of contact fusing from the graveyard, right? It's also contact fusing kind of.
Yeah, for sure. There's the sort of development of the... You're sitting there like really scratching your head on that one. You're trying to think of one, aren't you?
I can't get one, but how?
There has to be. There has to be.
Albert and Natus is also contact fusing. That's like just one card, so it's not really a whole deck that does it, but that's definitely another one.
Archetypes.
Yeah, name a beast. Tri-Brigade? Not beasts? No.
Fire Fist.
Fire...
Sebastian, you're really bad at this.
I mean, you're not giving me anything here just yet either, so I don't know where you're going there. Okay, we are reading. Which one are we? I think we're reading Varudras just to make sure here.
Yeah, getting a translation out on how Varudras exactly works, because you can... I think he was checking to see if it negates on resolution. So I think there was an attempt to...
Oh yeah, there's one material gone, right?
Yeah, I think we negated the effect of Lara. And I believe, and I think Varadras has to negate and destroy in order to get to the second destruction, I believe. Do you want to just double check that for us, Leo?
Oh, now we detach the second. Oh, maybe they chained? Oh, I think Herman is just trying to give Giuseppe the opportunity here to clear the field for him, to be honest.
Wow.
I think that is a very, very interesting move here, because Herman just wants to give him the incentivize to also destroy here potentially with the Varudras. And therefore we chain to the activation of the effect.
Herman, the mastermind Hansen.
Yes.
Striking again, possibly.
Okay, I mean, we did detach 2 materials, so I think we just destroyed the Lara there as well, right?
Yeah, especially considering that we had to commit an emergency teleport to that, so it's just the lone ulti Canahawk on the field here.
The thing is, if the field is cleared and we... Oh no, we can we can tag out at the end of battle phase, right?
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's like a little piece of technology you can do, right? Like go end of battle,
You're right.
tag out the Canahawk, and then chain evenly matched.
Evenly matched. That's crazy.
That was
I know.
Sky Striker technology.
Yes, exactly. You did that with Ray back in the day, so it must work like that too. But of course, they can negate then with the Phantom of Yubel.
What are we negating here with the Phantom?
The Canahawk?
It must have been the Lara, right?
Might be.
So we destroy the Spirit effect.
Yeah, you might be right. It probably was the effect to return on Canahawk here.
I mean, if you're doing this end of battle phase, it is kind of sus. I would also definitely negate that.
And anything else?
Nothing else on resolution here, but yeah, this is a
I mean, to be fair, like there was also a really good way of doing this because he could have just gone special summon to summon out SP Little Knight. SP Little Knight target the Desiree. They probably chained. Then we chain the SP, and voila, our field is empty. So maybe that was the plan. Also along the way, baiting out the Desiree. I think that would have been nice.
Could still be going for it for all we know here because we're using the effect of Nemesis Flag to return to special summon itself. So there could still be some opportunity to do this. I think Herman's just explaining how the flag resolves. It's a continuous, not a continuous, but it activates and kind of resolves in the hand before it hits the field and gets the ability to use the ignition effect to search for the Protoss. And without a doubt, if a Protoss resolves this turn, that's going to be a pretty rough spot for Giuseppe. But speaking of Protoss and the power of Ritual Beast because of the dominance of Yubel and just how much of an advantage you can be going first by resolving a Protoss, light monsters are still good. The Fiendsmith package is really versatile in that way. You know, it has removal. You can bounce things just by playing with lights. So
yeah, but I mean, still not activated and sitting there set in Giuseppe's spell and trap zone, of course, is the Chamber, and that card alone could deal with that plan too. But it might also actually clear the opponent's field once more, so maybe that evenly match still is waiting there, still being that last resort for Herman. This is not over yet.
yeah, it should still be the main phase right now, so we are trying to work through as much of this as possible before trying to pull off that chain of resolving evenly matched.
Searching the Protoss, all right. Is now the time where we just try with the SP Little Knight? That sounds like such a nice play, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, for sure. The problem with the SP Little Knight is that you do get to resolve the evenly match, but you don't have any follow-up. That's what I'm worried about.
Summon the Protoss after? Like, do you have enough attributes for that? You should,
No,
right?
definitely not, right? We've got wind and fire. I guess
And there
Lara's
already
light
is
as
a
well.
light in the graveyard.
Yeah,
I think that sounds
potentially.
like a super good plan if you ask me.
All right, well,
I mean, the question is there even a way? Yeah, the Protoss itself would be the Dark Monster we need. So let's see, is that really doable? This would have been perfectly piloted. Oh, yeah, that is a Link Summon, isn't it? We're doing it. There is SP Little Knight.
Wow.
Oh my, this will be a very, very crucial moment for this match, because if they just let that resolve, it's actually better.
So Sarah de Lotus is also
Funnily enough.
another negate, I just realized.
yeah, you got the Lotus and the Yubel combination together acts as a negate too.
Oh my. Oh, true, and that one actually doesn't... That one doesn't destroy it, which is very important here.
Oh,
Yeah,
so,
it just changes the effect once more.
But the Yubel's been banished by SP, right? Did we let that resolve?
Or maybe that.
But, I mean, the throne was activated now, so we still get to chain the SP Little Knight onto the Desiree.
Oh, true, but they can negate it then.
Yeah, but then you go Protoss.
Yeah. Oh, Veiler,
Oh, right.
on top of all of that effect, Veiler from the hand. We talked about it earlier. Yubel, just such a deck with so many slots for non-engine, having the ability to play all those cards. Now, after almost playing for everything, that one little effect Veiler waiting in the hand, I think Herman is signalizing that he is surrendering, and therefore 1-0 for Giuseppe and his Yubel deck.
Yeah, no, solid effort, no doubt. But I think once you have that full two-card combo from Yubel, putting up the most powerful field possible, missing, I suppose, a Caesar. I'm not sure if he's actually playing it, but
Pretty
on top
surely.
of that, you have like the effect Veiler. It really is just too much and overwhelming.
That is true. The deck is really, really strong, and it's no wonder that the deck is the deck to beat for this weekend. We have seen this in the deck breakdown as well at 12%, which is very refreshing to see, actually, that the top deck is at only 12% usage. We had...
Was it 12?
Yeah, it was fairly low. It was like, you know, round about maybe just under 15, somewhere around about that. And then I think the next represented might have been...
I think 10 pi and White Forest
10
Rune,
pi,
right?
10 pi.
I think these were both represented with the same amount. Funnily enough, they played against each other in the last feature match, which was quite funny. And
Snake Eye was also...
It was like Splot like 3 or 4, I think.
And Snake Eye is performing well.
Which it is. That's a very interesting thing to note, because we were taking a look at some of the decks in the top tables, and we were like genuinely shocked at just how many Snake Eye was still around. Not the most represented deck, and it was, from what I could tell, there was numerically more than Yubel even. But of course, we will have a deck breakdown for you guys available to display and show on the stream throughout tomorrow on day 2, once we get that made up and of course get the data in.
I will also say to Snake Eye, you know, the best duelists in the world have been playing Snake Eyes for the last half year, maybe up to 9 months, depending on where they, if they were on Snake Eye Fire King before Poplar was released. They are still extremely good at the deck. Of course. You know, if they are playing this now and everyone else was just adapting to the Forbidden and Limited list, playing new decks which they are not that familiar with, there's still the edge of just being a pilot with so much experience with the deck.
And of course, as soon as you don't have that big target on your back anymore, and now that is with Yubel, of course it's your time to shine, right? Because people are now always addressing the Yubel deck, may go for less optimal cards against Snake Eye, and there's your way to glory, because these are now way freer to go.
You bring up a very good point there about how people have just so many reps from practicing all of the Snake Eye and playing Snake Eye for this amount of time. A lot of those top players may have then pivoted over to Yubel for this upcoming format, but with way less gameplay and hours invested into Yubel, they might not be performing as well, which is why maybe Snake Eye could actually be creeping up back into day 2. We'll see just exactly how that unfolds tomorrow. But we're here now. Our players are ready for game number 2. Let's head on back to the table and see how this match unfolds.
Yubel versus Ritual Beast. Ritual Beast this time having the option to go first. I think that Herman is also going to take that one and is not going to let his opponent start. But after this discussion that we just had during the side decking... Wait.
Oh, Perulia.
Oh, that is so good against Ritual Beast.
Yeah.
It is.
Perulia is a really, really powerful card against Ritual Beast. Now, the reason for that is you normal summon for your normal summon. Your Elder provides another normal summon from the hand. You have a normal summon from the Kimon Falco, the Link 2, and then you have a further normal summon from the Link 4, and I believe there's a third one in there, potentially, I think from Lara. There's a lot of normal summoning in this deck, basically.
You, doesn't sound very normal to me, but all right.
It's Flu Wonder, but with combo cards, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. So that Perulia, certainly strong. Also, Herman did not have Ash Blossom to answer it, potentially. Those 3 cards were all engine, so does that help us, really?
I mean, the thing is, Herman has a Dimensional Fissure in hand.
That is a really important thing.
Activating this in passing, because you are probably going to give your opponent way too much.
Oh, it's setting a monster.
Oh.
What year is this? I mean, what year did Ritual Beast initially release?
2015, The Secret Forces, February 17.
There you go, a true expert.
I made up the number. But it was February 2015, alongside Necros.
Oh, and I mean, actually the hand of Giuseppe struggles really, really hard against this Dimensional Fissure.
We have 2 hand traps that do not work under D-Fissure, and it doesn't look like we have a starter. I think we have Nightmare Pain that might be that's Engraver. Okay, Engraver
is also having some troubles.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he even has a play here.
You can activate it, but Lurie is kind of whack if you don't put it into the graveyard, you know? Okay, we're going for it, though.
Okay, activating the effect of Engraver, you can still use it despite the fact that it gets sent to the grave. The banishment, rather.
Yeah.
I'm going to search out Tract, but as you mentioned, I don't know where this really goes from here.
Maybe we just cycle through our deck to find our side deck cards.
Possibly. I mean, does Lurie really need to be going to... No. Oh, wait, it does need to go to the graveyard. Yeah, Lurie does need to do that, so...
Listen, Basti, it's a fabled card, okay? It's a long time ago, so those will definitely need to go to the grave.
But is there, like, maybe any monster we can search here? Oh, wait, no, it's only searching light ones, right? Like, is there any way for us to just get to a dark monster eventually? Is there one in the extra deck, maybe?
We discard, like, an Effect Veiler or Droll?
Yeah, and then just normal summon it.
But
See if that does anything.
you don't remove anything by summoning out Engraver from the deck with Requiem if you can't. Can you equip from
Requiem.
Banishment? Can you equip from Banishment?
Requiem
Wouldn't surprise me.
effect.
Because this card is actually new, so it might.
There comes the Engraver. I mean, that is a monster on the field. Reasonable, right? Better than just passing, to be fair. So how big is that monster going to be that Herman has there set? So we may as well try with those beautiful 1,600 attack points, and nope.
Lara with the 2,000 defense, I believe.
Boom, 200 damage.
Yeah. Massive. Gonna set. Trying to bluff the infinite impermanence there, I think, is what Giuseppe is trying here. And now it's over back to Herman. So, yeah, we just need a Ritual Beast. And a Canahawk is gonna get us there. We have a Spiritual Beast on the field. We have Canahawk. Canahawk is a one-card combo. Plus the Dimensional Fissure and a body. We should be able to make a very, very convincing turn here, actually.
All right, guys, take notes. This is going to be very delicate.
I have a question to the expert, Nadil. So I've been told that combos for Ritual Beast are actually even better when there's Shifter or Dimensional Fissure resolving, because you just get them into the banish zone naturally. Is that true?
Yeah, so there's a kind of a common misconception that, you know, Shifter acts as like, you know, like a bonfire style extender. it's very, like, you don't care about Shifter whatsoever. Okay. But it's not like it significantly improves your combos. It specifically affects Rampengu.
Fair.
So Rampengu gets to put more fuel into the banishment from the extra deck rather than just the main deck.
True.
That's about the only thing that really changes significantly.
All right. I mean, fair. Good to clear up with that misconception. You heard it here first.
But still good, of course. You know, that's the important thing. So yeah. Searching out when here, so that means we're going to probably go for a... Did we use Canahawk effect again?
Yeah, I think we did.
Not yet,
Well,
right?
no, we banished Rampengu, then we tagged out, and we summoned... yeah, see?
We do. Yeah.
Yeah, that was almost a bit of a serious misplay there, because if you then link off, you can't actually bring anything back with Wen. So yeah, you do need to make sure that you have a target for Wen here, so that's what Herman's doing here. He looks like he might be going for a Pelio.
Or maybe the Dolphin.
Or the Elder.
Do we still play the Dolphin?
I don't know. I love the
think
Dolphin.
Like, you could side it or something. It's another name. What do we got? We got Zephyr and
not in
Pelican.
here,
No, there's
No main deck, no
Dolphin.
side deck, no nothing.
Herman, where Dolphin?
You were supposed to give us impressions this weekend, right?
Oh, Dolphin is really hard.
Dolphin is hard.
Oh no, please. Oh my, it's really the 8th round of the day, isn't it?
I forgot with Pearly, by the way.
I'm glad you did, but I mean, here we have your Dolphin expression. Everyone make sure to clip it at home.
There's a lot of different animals in this deck, so I mean, we could give us one for each name,
Yeah, if
potentially.
the hawk enters again, I will do a hawk. But I don't know penguin noises.
I'm not sure, actually.
They're very quiet animals.
I don't-
Very quiet animals, luckily.
I don't really want to know.
Exactly. All right, we do get back, of course, now, though, the Rampengu, and we are banishing. As you said, this is now immediately banishing it, instead of putting it to the graveyard.
Yeah, so we get the Ulti Apelio into the banishment alongside the main deck Apelio, and that's just more fuel for the Ulti Canahawk, which means we're going to get a ton of searches here. I'm just curious to see how Herman is going to play this out, if he is going to respect Nibiru, or if he's going to try and go for game. Good, great.
Thank you.
I honestly thought there was some kind of bird flying above me. Couldn't tell the difference. All right, and you can see here why there is so many draws that Perilia offer you, as we bring out the Elder. Now this Kimon Falco is going to give us another one as well once we banish here in just a moment.
Players just communicating properly there, making sure that everyone is just summoning once per turn, because that's like the usual restriction with the Ritual Beast. You are just only allowed to special summon every single one of them once per turn, right?
Yeah, otherwise you would be able to just infinitely summon your Ritual Beast and keep looping the Ulti Canahawk to get a search for everything in your deck here. You can see the old classic Ritual Beast Steeds. It's a very cool disruption in Ritual Beast. So the way it works is it's non-targeting destruction. So it destroys cards on the field up to the number of Ritual Beasts you control. So generally you can do like really big plays because you activate the Ritual Beast Steeds, and then you can go Chain Link 2 and even Chain Link 3, tagging out your extra deck monsters, and they resolve, bringing back your Ritual Beast names, and then that obviously increases the number of monsters on the field, and then you know, you can hit like 4+ cards with a single Steeds.
That reminds me of a phenomenal trap card called Salamangreat Rage.
I knew it was
Exactly.
coming.
Yeah, so instead of link rating, it's monsters on the field. So a little bit more difficult to establish, but yeah.
There's
Similar
only
vein.
one deck that Leo loves more than Voices, Voice, or Pearly. That's Salamangreat. That's
When are
how
we
it
going to
is,
tell them
sadly.
that that's not true?
What do you mean?
Excuse me?
You should have seen Leo's face when he walked through the
outrageous.
top tables and saw a Voices Voice player. He was bursting out in tears.
Yeah.
Positively, you know? Okay, we are in the battle phase here, though, in round number 8 of this YCS, of course. And Herman tries to bring himself closer to victory here. But that should be a little short, I think.
Yeah, so I don't think he was really trying to go for game. I think he was just trying to potentially force out that end of main, just in case there was an Nibiru lurking there. But we do have a really good setup here. I mean, Dimensional Fissure plus Ritual Beast Steeds, I don't think you're in a really bad spot. And of course, you can tag out once more and then make Ulti Gaia Pillar. Actually, maybe not, because we might not have enough names, since we have special to all of the ones.
Should have played the Dolphin.
Should have played Dolphin. True, true, true.
Where is the Dolphin? Not
He
here.
is actually going to go for it.
All right.
Yeah. Oh,
SP Little Knight. Oh, what was waiting there the entire time? It was the
Nightmare
Pain.
Oh.
Oh, so we comboed for a long time for a field that is what I would describe as rather minimalistic.
And it's good enough, though.
It's enough.
Did he even look at the top card, or did he just, before even picking it up, say, hey, I don't want to deal with this?
It was a good top deck. It was Lotus, but and it's just not going to do anything in this scenario. So yeah.
Fair enough. 1-1,
Game
even
number
score.
Dimensional Fissure Gaming, guys. The card was really, really strong there. We had Droll and Lockbird. We had the Effect Veiler. Both you're not able to use them. You can't even try to activate them. Ash Blossom works a little differently, just has to be discarded. Actually went for a negation. Wasn't enough at all.
Yeah.
But I like that Herman just decided to wait out the Perulia. It was like, I have Dimensional Fissure with it, which is a crazy card against Yubel. The deck can kind of play under it a little bit sometimes if the hand is really good, but not all the times. And just say, I can just try to wait this out, and I have a higher chance of winning instead of giving you 5 draws for my 20 normal summons that I'm doing.
Yeah, that's the problem. You know, Perulia puts you in a really bad spot. And honestly, very impressed that you had such a powerful card dropped on you, and Herman was still able to take that down despite the fact that Perulia is just so incredibly powerful in this deck. Now, it's interesting because when you play against something like Ritual Beast, I mean, what do you think you do as Yubel? Like, is it like anti-combo cards you side in, or do you think it's more like back row hate? Because Dimensional Fissure, Macrocosmos, these are all cards you can play in Ritual Beast when you go first specifically.
Yeah, but now the situation is that the Yubel player is going to go first, right? So, like, is it really worth that when you already build your field to have a Cosmic Cyclone for the Dimensional Fissure? I mean, it does kind of interact with some of the cards. It, for example, makes sure that the Phantom gets banished when it is using its effect or something, but it seems rather mediocre, to be honest, if you ask me.
Yeah, probably bringing up Nibiru despite the fact we're going first.
Yeah,
not
that for sure.
Not really too much for Ritual Beast specifically. They kind of just naturally kind of suffer to multiple disruptions and hand traps. Herman, on the other hand, is probably going to try and bring in as much as possible for going second here. We've got Nibiru, we've got Dominus Purge.
Oh, yeah.
Card that we haven't quite seen too much yet on stream. I haven't seen it resolve yet.
Do a lot. It blocks Nightmare Pain, right? So it negates that. It just specifically, it's like an Ash Blossom, but it just stops effect that summons from deck?
I mean, you can just
add.
Any Spirit of Yubel resolution could be enough to potentially cut them off.
Right?
Isn't it? Let's double check.
Oh, is it adding?
It includes an effect that adds a card from the deck. Yeah, it's just adding.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you stop Nightmare Pain, which is a pretty powerful effect because it adds a card and destroys your Spirit of Yubel most of the time. That special summons out Yubel.
Yeah, Pain specifically. That's a good point.
You could also just go after the Spirit of Yubel before that already to stop them getting to Nightmare Pain, which might even be better. Because you just don't want that card on the field, as it is already preventing you from attacking normally and so on. So I think it might be worth going after this already. There's different reasons, though. Also, I mean, can't you just go after Nightmare Throne immediately? Because that would also technically have the ability to search.
That is possible.
Yeah. So like,
it just depends, like, if you want to maybe wait for like a clutch moment with the Nightmare Pain, or if you feel that going for the throne is better.
Yeah.
But our players look like they're just about ready for this game number 3. We have a decent amount of time left on the clock. Let's head on over back and see how this final duel of YCS Lille 2024, the 275th for day 1, will conclude.
as you already said, the final match here. Ritual Beast versus Yubel. Herman versus Giuseppe, who is going to take it down here. Giuseppe is surely going to go first, and the opening hand of Herman looks quite neat there.
I see a lot of disruption. I can't quite spot too much engine, but regardless, I think we will be seeing Giuseppe doing quite a long combo here, so most likely going to see something similar to game number 1, where we had the full field of Yubel. However, we are starting with Engraver instead of any Yubel cards, so this could be a little bit weaker here. I doubt we're going to see a Varadras, actually, because of this.
You said Herman's hand is neat. I don't see a shifter, my friend.
That's the only technology you know.
No, I think it's just a very strong technology against the Yubel deck, because it just has no counter strategy to it, really, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, hard summon a Phantom and pass potentially from your hand. Like, yeah, not a lot of tools for that. The Fiendsmith stuff is something, but yeah, regardless, this is going to be able to connect into your Yubel cards quite nicely.
Okay, there's the Necroker Princess. That is a contact fusion as well, right? We were talking contact fusions. This one does as well.
All right, returning here, bringing out the Engraver. Now we're going to use those to make Sequence.
Oh, seems like it. So that means we already... Oh, wait, we are maybe going to fuse out the Aerial Eater here, possibly? Yeah. So that means, though, we're probably not going to get to the Desiree. We might, though, still with the Tract in the graveyard, so we will have to see.
Yeah, you could use Track potentially as well.
Yeah.
So this is going to send here the Samsara Lotus.
Oh, is it? You usually want to go Samsara Lotus. Sometimes there is a reason to just immediately go for Spirit of Yubel, but usually it will just be with Samsara Lotus, and it's just an additional card. Oh, okay, we're linking up the Aerial Eater.
You've seen the card in hand.
I saw a spooky dogwood in the hand of Giuseppe just now. Ooh, that might potentially come into play here. There's a decent amount of time left, but, you know, this combo takes a while, and Herman then has to play his turn. You know, that's a lot of life points potentially. But yeah, here we are. We've got the Muckraker that's going to...
Dominus Purge, and Basti, you're right. We hit
exactly.
the Spirit of Yubel immediately. But what you just said with the Spooky Dogwood reminds me of the Euros finals, where there was a Spooky Dogwood activated against the Ritual Beast deck. And then actually, for the first time, I think, on stream, the game wasn't decided in timeout when Spooky Dogwood was activated, but just because Julio couldn't deal as much damage until basically all the Protoses ran out.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, there comes a stage where, hey, you just play into it. You give your opponent tens of thousands of life points. They could just wait multiple turns to try and fix their hand and then come back from there. We'll see how this works out here as we go for a Contact Fusion. You saw that Dominus Purge being held very patiently throughout all of this combo just on the Spirit of Yubel. I wonder if there's a reason why you use it on Spirit of Yubel instead of just the Nightmare Pain.
You don't want Nightmare Pain on the field, because that just hinders you from attacking freely.
So the only issue with that is if you purge the Spirit of Yubel and you hard draw the Nightmare Pain, I think just, you know, using the Nightmare Pain as the clutch point could be potentially a little bit better, but I guess it just depends on, do you anticipate the hard drawn 2 off?
Oh, that's a pass. It would have been hilarious to activate it. Oh no.
Do we like most of the Yubel lists I've seen do not even play it as a 2-off. Like Nightmare Pain has become mostly a 1-off, I would say. Here in this list of Giuseppe as well, but of course there could always be the 2-off. But now it's the turn of Herman, and he activates Emergency Teleport.
I'm curious why Herman hasn't actually led with one of the Eclipses in his hand here just to force out that Phantom of Yubel. Maybe there's a Talent or Thrust here. Okay, he's going to use it now.
There it is.
Well, I suppose it's fine, actually, because you can Contact Fuse face downs.
True.
Indeed true. There it is. Also, one card we didn't even consider, which also could have been negated by the Dominus Purge, was just the Engraver, right? Which is a very obvious one, which we didn't consider, actually.
No, because your opponent needs to control a monster.
Oh!
That's what I was going to say earlier,
true,
and then I went back because...
Sure, you're right. I forgot about that part.
Would have ended the turn immediately.
Did you see what happened there? It was almost like a scary Branded moment where they set a monster and then Contact Fuse with the set monsters.
Okay.
I think we should be allowed to link summon with face downs.
Oh no. Oh, please no, please no. Spare me that.
Here is Spooky Dogwood.
It's a late one.
Yeah, it's It's hasn't resolved. Oh yeah, we are using it in response to the Lara. Do you know what's really funny here? If we played the Dolphin, you could summon Dolphin and it wouldn't give any life points, and then you can go to.
Is it zero attack?
Yeah, it's zero attack.
That's funny. Yeah,
you could potentially pass in half your life points, but interesting situation here because we have just over 10 minutes on the clock. So do we keep going? Is it worth it? It's an odd situation.
It's
so
very tough.
difficult because you can't just attack over the monsters that are there. You know, you usually in every other matchup I would say just try to clear the field because it's kind of like forfeiting if you give your opponent a full combo full of life points. But in this situation, you just can't get rid of the field really.
Yeah, it's really tough for sure. But also you don't want to leave them there as they would just give them 2 additional draws in the end phase. It's a very rough situation there for Herman right now.
You can just attack them so they're face up.
Yeah, I guess.
Or your opponent summons out a Yubel from the Spirit of Yubel. Like, you can destroy that one at least. But it doesn't advance you at all.
All right, so you can see Herman has really picked up the pace here, and I think that's definitely the mark of experience because even though there is 10 minutes on the clock, you still need to really power through this because a lot of life points are going to be gained here, and this could last multiple turns. Even if we end on something like the Protoss, you still have to make sure that you can give yourself enough turns in order to actually finish off the life points, because we're going to be racking up 30,000-40,000 life points if we go through the whole combo.
I mean, you don't need to go for the full combo, right? You just Protoss here.
That's what I was thinking. Like, don't we just attack into the monsters, make them face up, bring the Protoss out, and just have Protoss resolving as quickly as possible?
If you put the Phantom of Yubel face up.
Ah, fair, yeah. Maybe not that one then.
Let it face down. Let it stay face down for a second.
Okay, that is more damage, or more health to the life points of Giuseppe right now, as he's gaining and gaining. Over 4,000 life points have been gained already at this point.
All right, and I did like your suggestion, actually, of attacking and putting the Spirit face up. You could probably leave the Phantom face down, but then it does just eliminate another body, and of course the Spirit of Yubel won't be able to trigger, since we would be locked out of Darks at that point. But don't forget that Giuseppe does have an infinite impermanence set here.
True.
We keep on going, and there is now the next monster that we summon, and it is the...
Make SP before.
It's Ryra.
Yeah,
oh, no, it's not Drago.
You're not wrong. Like, if you see a set card from your opponent, I mean, you do kind of have to respect infinite impermanence potentially.
Yeah.
In the same way that Herman,
we keep on going. And I mean, isn't SP good generally? Like, we can also just go after the set Phantom with SP very, very efficiently.
I don't think
to deal with it.
I don't think you care about the Phantom. I think you need to deal with the impermanence, resolve the Protoss, and then...
then you have the SP Little Knight on the field, and then you can play around the Imperm anyways, don't you?
True.
I mean, but then they can just activate it on the summon of the Protoss, and that might make things awkward. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, true. It's not that great. It's not optimal.
Do we play Lightning Chidori?
Let me double check. His extra deck has multiple rank 4 monsters, but no Lightning Chidori.
Oh, we're attacking.
Okay, we're in the battle phase. A lot of monsters. The battle phase has been called.
Yeah, so we're going to deal some damage over the Muckraker.
Almost there. Almost there. Look at this. We're dealing damage. We're getting the number down again. 14,400, not anymore. It's probably going to go back up in the main phase too, though.
Oh, and Lara going for a powerful 100 attack.
Oh, he's putting the Phantom face up. Interesting.
I mean, he has another Book of Eclipse, right?
Oh, that's a Link 4, isn't it?
Yeah, it's I won't even attempt to say this one.
The Ulti Raratori.
Yep. So this one works quite similarly, I believe, right? This has a really random good effect here.
They can't be targeted, right? Isn't that the case?
No. Neither player can tribute cards.
Oh, true. Oh, so yeah, goodbye Phantom of Yubel, I guess.
That's okay.
We're floodgating this.
Yeah, I like it.
That's insane. Herman rushing through this, but for a reason. He actually has a really good win con here.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, as long as time allows, there is a world where Herman is just in a super good driving seat here. But yeah, that Dogwood is putting in so much work. And honestly, respect to Giuseppe for, putting it in, despite the fact that there was like 15 minutes on the clock when this round started. It's the real mark of tournament experience there to realize, like, hey, listen, a game 3 like this is still going to last a long time. And, especially when Herman has to rush through his plays like this, you can absolutely potentially cause a misstep.
Holy, how many more life points are we going to give him?
Use the effect of Ulti Canahawk to return here to get the search.
The thing is, you said there was a great win con for Herman. Like, how much of a win con is the Ulti Raratoria? You're shutting off the Phantom of Yubel.
Well, that's assuming we can also force through Protoss, right? That's the important thing. Does it protect targeting from everything, or...?
I mean, no, wait, it just has, doing your opponent's turn has that effect to target one Ritual Beast card you control and one card your opponent controls to banish them, but it's just on the opponent's turn, sadly.
We're setting up a big Steeds. You have the Raratory, your opponent
we don't even go Protoss, huh?
Small resources.
We don't even go Protoss, there we are.
Destroy everything, and when Yubel is summoned, you can just banish it. This might be very big for Herman. Did he actually break the field and set up something that Giuseppe can't beat?
So the issue is that Herman is going to need multiple battle phases here to actually bring this down. Yeah. Ooh, are we going for a Link summon?
Looks like it,
looks like
surely.
We're going to go for the SP Little Knight.
Yep, and I mean, it was a fusion monster we used there at the end of the day, so we can use the effect of the Little Knight here too. Oh, going after one of the set cards. Is that immediately the Steeds? It is immediately the Steeds. That can't be very good news for Herman, to be honest, because he probably wanted to wait with that one.
And the next question is, what cards does Giuseppe have in hand? Like,
Impermanence on the Raratory.
Oh, we can't target it because of the Noche Drago,
Noche Drago. That was the one that prevents targeting. There we are.
Right, and now we're discussing about this, but let's just crack on with the game here. Negates the Noche Drago because only the others are protected. Apparently, SP Little Knight is being destroyed here. That is very good. Couldn't you just have targeted the Noche Drago then?
And there we are, Engraver in the graveyard. I mean, we can now... I mean, that could have still happened under Protoss, so maybe Herman was just right by not going for Protoss, because looks like Giuseppe is not doing a whole lot besides the Fiendsmith stuff here anyways.
Wait. Does that tribute?
You can't tribute it.
Does Requiem tribute?
Yep.
Oh,
that is
I'm pretty sure it does. Let's double check. But the wording of Fiendsmith Requiem pretty easily says you can tribute this card.
Wow.
And there is no tributing right now, as there is the Ulti Raratory on the field.
Okay, wow. This Raratory really putting in a lot of work here.
Oh, Aerial Eater. One fiend, two fiends. And Herman says, yes, sure, cool. Yeah, bring it onto the field. It can't challenge my monsters here at the moment. I need my battle phases, please.
Yeah, and again, like it's a little scary because there's multiple battle phases that are required here.
Yeah. Maybe, I mean, you already have so much damage on the field. You're right, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
The question is,
multiple turns for sure.
Next turn, are you trying to set up a little bit more damage, or are you just going to... If your opponent ends on basically an empty field, are you just attacking and then passing immediately back?
Yeah, I think quick wins the race here for sure, and you need to win the race, and therefore just go for some attacks.
What I'm worried about is, like, if you just... You know, if Giuseppe passes here, Herman goes battle phase pass, I mean... You don't have any setup here. Oh, that's another Dominus Purge.
Dominus Purge, another one, and of course that's another target we can hit with it. And it does destroy the Yama, that's so big. 3.5 minutes, can he do it? There's Tract now though. Does Tract really do anything with Requiem already out and not even able to use its effect anyways in the first place?
I mean, he gets out another monster that can be sound in defense position, I suppose.
Yeah, that's what it does.
In the end phase, you can just use Raratory, target it to banish it, and banish your own monster by tagging it out to basically get some extra value. And then
using the last card in hand as well. 0 cards left in hand for Giuseppe. Man, Herman can get this, but he needs to do it quickly. Oh my, immediately getting rid of it. And the Phantom of Yubel, it's just the vanilla monster at this point.
Yeah, chaining the Canahawk to tag out there, banishing the Phantom of Yubel. It cannot negate because of Ratorai, saying that neither player can tribute cards. Wow.
This is madness. Herman is on the edge of winning this. Quickly cut the deck. He needs every second here.
2 minutes, 40 seconds remain here. 22,600 life points because of the Spooky Dogwood. Herman draws for a turn. What are we doing here? Are we going to try and do more damage? Do we try and get more monsters out?
He's so quick. Give me the Steeds back. Give me the Steeds back so quick.
Huge. Herman is so good at this, but there is no time to take a deep breath and think through your turn. You just need to go for some damage. We're going to tag out here. Going to sound out the next powerful fusion monster. Wouldn't go for an SP Little Knight.
Another one of those. Okay.
Normal summon when, bring out Apelio. Apelio can then banish from the graveyard, boost the attack.
There we are. All right. He's on 0 cards. We're doing a whole lot of damage here. It's not going to be enough just yet to bring us ahead, but still we're getting so close. Oh no, but Yama triggers in the graveyard.
Okay, Yama can
that's
just do some
big.
chump blocking potentially. 1 minute 50 seconds left on the clock.
Okay, just Requiem. That's so fine.
We can just attack over this.
Yeah, we can attack over anything that's brought out here. All of these monsters are much bigger right now because of the Apelio. Yep, banishing the Penguin, attacking with the Nochi Drago, and then the Retorai directly, the Apelio directly, and I think the Wen directly as well.
Okay. Set one. Steeds
Set
it is.
one
Okay,
pass.
1.5 minutes. Only one card for Giuseppe. Is it going to be possible? How many more life points does he need?
1 minute 30 seconds here. We just need, we need battle phases.
I think he's at like 16k or something. How much damage is this on the field? This is way above 9,000. He's just passing.
Did he
We're going
pass
to
again?
swing
There it is.
immediately.
We are in the
this
battle
the
phase
perfect
one more time.
attacking?
This must be enough. Did he even draw a card? No, wait. No, we're
drew
still
a card.
calculating. No, I mean Herman. It's not Herman's turn yet.
And the time is stopped.
Okay, look, they're calculating. That's good. They're
No,
just
this is-
clarifying how many life points damage that even was. I love stopping the clock here because it's just actually clarifying the situation that we're in.
12,300 life points is what remains here for Giuseppe, so he's still technically in the lead.
He is.
That is not too much.
Didn't he? He has a card in hand, right? He drew that
Yeah,
for turn,
he
right?
drew that
for
turn.
He was on completely nothing.
He is indeed. Okay, and Raver
now
can come
the
back.
clock has resumed here.
Back.
Return
ticking.
special summon the Engraver. Banish summon Aerial Eater potentially. I don't think you're worried here, right? We have a Ritual Beast Steeds. Oh,
Yeah,
we just
we're banishing the
passed.
Canahawk as well. Oh, we're passing.
Banishing the Engraver,
Oh,
of
there
course.
is so much damage.
And then
In the battle phase, we are at Herman Hansen with a photo finish. Brings it home here in round number 8. What a fantastic display of skill with that extra time he needed, but he made it in time, winning there. What a game by the man Herman Hansen, right?
I can't believe the way he navigated that with such few, like, time on the clock there. I mean, to be able to still play all of those interactions, to be able to then recycle that Steeds, make sure that all of your combos are in place so that you can actually set up something that prevents Yubel from playing, disrupting them, giving yourself 3 battle phases total to fight through that Dogwood.
Also, he was like, we were thinking the Ritual Beast deck was a Protoss turbo deck, and that's how it wins the games.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
Sometimes.
it stopped the opposing deck from setting up a huge field, and then he played a minimalist field, you know, and then it was still enough, and then with the ulti oratory, the tributing and everything, that was insane. The deck used, it had so much flexibility. The Steeds were so good. This was phenomenal.
I mean, realistically, going first, this card is almost as good as Protoss because it prevents the Requiem, it prevents the Samsara Lotus. It's like it's preventing the entire Yubel deck from playing, actually.
Yeah, it's so many cards that you don't really think about, like the Requiem, for example, tributing, it is actually hit by the Ritual Beast Link 4. And of course, as you said, that was a photo finish. Unbelievable the way that managed to play out there. And I think MVP for that game had to have been the Dominus Purge, right?
Yeah, multiple times.
Held at the right moment for that Spirit of Yubel, denying the Nightmare Pain, denying that must, attack into that Yubel monster, being able to set up with the SP Little Knight, then creating a little minimalist combo, as you mentioned, and still taking it all down. I'm out of breath just thinking about that match. That is unbelievable.
That was
less than
insanity.
a minute on the clock there.
I mean, and you could see, even though he has the mask on, you could see the relief in Herman Hansen's eyes when he made it. He was like, this was very, very close. This must have been an immensely stressful situation. And this man has been at so many YCS top cuts, so many. He has been at the World Championships. I think he even made top 8 there.
Yeah. Was he 9th? Oh, no.
No, Jonas Koschel was 9th.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that one,
true.
and I think Herman Hansen made it in there. All of my friends get 9th at Worlds. I don't know. Anthony Lopez this year as well. But he is used to pressure. That's what I'm trying to say here. And this one was, again, one of those situations where he could prove that he's truly one of the best duelists in the world.
He absolutely is. Probably is going to be top of Swiss after day 1, isn't he? Like, I mean, he's undefeated, 0 losses, 0 draws.
A couple of Exos, I think.
Probably, yeah,
but
you're
no.
right. He's up there for sure.
Yeah, great start, honestly. Day 1, especially with the top 32 here. You need to guarantee all of those wins whenever you can because it's going to be tight. It's going to be another photo finish potentially for Top Cut as well. So yeah, really well played. And Herman, I suppose, kind of infamous for always playing something that's a little bit off meta, right?
Yes.
Like Fiendsmith, Snake Eye, Yubel, not interested. Wants to play Ritual Beast, and from what he tells me, he is Lara's strongest soldier. So that definitely
And I mean,
was
we saw
proven
that in
today.
action for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
We absolutely did.
He has played so many crazy decks before. He has also played Volcanic
Do you remember that
Horus.
60-card deck? Yeah.
Yeah, that was completely
Yeah.
insane. He might have overcooked a little bit there.
Yeah, literally on fire.
Yeah, he was very much on fire for that one. But yeah, overall, fantastic display of skill. Honestly, I was thinking maybe there was a small percentage of a chance that he brings the Melodious deck to this tournament, because he won Nationals this year with Melodious. He was saying, hey, Eva coming back, this might be the time to bring it back. Also, the Snake Eye matchup wasn't that great, but now with Yubel, it could be a little bit more manageable. We actually do see quite a bit of Melodious at the top tables, but of course, he brought his favorite deck. He played it back in the day. He's playing it still. It is Herman Hansen and Edward Templar for the winners interview here for round number 8.
I got the full name Edward Templar this time. That was nice, Basti. Thank you very much. Well, I am joined by Herman Hansen here, who's just won that last feature match that we have of day 1 here in YCS Lille with the most amazing photo finish. You were racing to build that field because that life point difference was crazy. So when you're having to deal with something like that, what's going through your mind?
So the most important thing when you get hit by Ghost Sister that close to time is that first, there's 2 things you actually have to do.
Okay.
The first thing is that you got to recognize how much can you actually do, and how much can you afford to do.
Okay.
So in my deck, when I'm staring down and he has all that follow-up, I know I have to go in. I don't have a choice. So I have to give him, and it will take what it takes. And I will just do it as fast as I possibly can, even if my cards are flying all over the table. And I'll do it, and I'll do it the best I can possibly can, and hopefully it will work out.
Did you see how long was left on the clock when you finished?
I was following it. We did have a minute time extension,
right,
which I don't know if it was on the clock on stream or not.
Okay.
But it was really close for us too. Thankfully, the judges did pause because they also had to do the math, which dragged down the time, of course. So they gave us like
a little extension.
Yeah, extension.
Okay.
For that.
It was so tight, and the casters were going crazy. It was so exciting, and what a way to end today. Congratulations on your win. You're no stranger to these feature matches. Perhaps we'll see you in the top cut. Best of luck to you. I'm going to let you go over and speak to Tom now, so you guys can go and do your post-match analysis. So you can put your microphone down. You can head over. Thank you so much, Herman. Congratulations again. That was such an exciting match. Don't worry. You feel free to go on over there, and you guys can get ready so you guys can go through that, because we need to see how that last minute went, because goodness me, I'd say from about maybe the 7 minutes left mark to the 1 minute left mark that we were seeing on stream, that was absolutely crazy. But to see more of this craziness, I'm going to throw you over to Tom and Herman, who are going to take you through exactly what happened during that amazing feature match. Tom, take it away.
Thanks so much, Ed. I mean, that was an amazing game. I was watching it myself. I was trying to think, what do I need to say after this? But for the last 10 minutes, I was like just watching the game thinking, like, is the life points going to matter? I mean, how do you feel after that?
I feel really hyped. I won't lie. This is it's probably one of my favorite moments I've had in Yu-Gi-Oh! Ever, probably.
Well, thanks for sharing it with everyone on the stream. I'm sure everyone really enjoyed it as well. So, I mean, just to go back to the beginning of the match, we're going to talk about the whole match, not just the end. We'll definitely have to talk about the end as well. But so in the first game, your opponent got to go first, and they did a kind of Yubel combo. So if we have a look at the first clip, you can kind of see the end field. Is this the kind of end field you've been breaking? Is this the kind of thing where if your opponent goes first and they do all of this, you just say, okay, maybe bad luck and I'll try and win the second and third games? Or do you think you have a plan to get through this?
I actually do have a plan, and I have actually gone through this field one time with just like the same kind of hand. This one was weaker, but I have actually gone through it before. Should I continue talking?
Yeah,
okay.
Of course, yeah.
So in my hand, I actually did have an evenly matched, but I knew that he all had like 2 Omni Negates and he had a really easy way to beat it. So the only way for me to actually win that match was to use my engine to force both of his Omni Negates and then try and evil him after and hope that he doesn't kill me the next turn.
Okay, so that was your plan, was to go for the evenly match, because the casters were having a look and seeing that. I think they were identified your plan. So we have a look at the next clip here. It looked like you were trying to see if you could squeeze through with the SP Lille Knight, gets rid of itself off the field and deals with some negates. And we saw your opponent, unfortunately for you, had an effect veiler as well. So was that kind of the nail in the coffin for you there?
Honestly, at this point, it was not the nail in the coffin. I needed him to use the Desiree on this little knight. So when he didn't do that, I'd already lost.
Okay, sure. So yeah,
that was pretty much nothing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, it was a valiant effort. I mean, you were very close. Do you think Evenly Match has been performing well for you this weekend? Is it something you can consistently resolve against these sorts of fields?
So, it's a little bit specific to the deck I'm playing. So, there's like a tiny fear going on. I'm sure people know what Flanderies does, for example. My deck also does a lot of normal summons, but that's not the point I'm making. I'm playing Shifter, and if I activate Shifter, basically my opponent, they do nothing, right? They just pass. That's what Shifter is doing for these decks. And therefore I need all my non-netting to actually go really well with Shifter, which is forcing me to like go into this board breaker approach and hope that makes Shifter better, because it does make Shifter better.
Okay, so your plan was to play cards you think specifically that go well with Shifter because it complements one of the most powerful cards in your deck?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're playing cards like Evenly Matched. What other cards are you playing to complement it?
So there's Dark Rune more, and then there's my favorite card in the entire deck, that is like not the Ritual Beast portion, it's Book of Eclipse. And the reason I'm playing Book of Eclipse is also actually pretty specific for this deck. So contact fusioning, you can contact fusion with face downs, as I think you saw in my Game 2 game. I think I contact fusion with face down monsters. And there's this interaction where like this deck is pretty weak into Nibiru normally. But the way people usually play Nibiru against deck, so if you put your monsters face down, Nibiru only tributes face ups. So if I put my monsters face down, I can let them Nibiru me, and then Nibiru stays either stays in hand if it tributes nothing or tributes a link, and then I can play afterwards. So like Book of Eclipse in this deck really like functions well as like both a board breaker and a very defensive card.
That is like super neat, and that's very creative to come up with that. I think I saw you in the second game, or maybe it was the third game, where you summoned a monster first with emergency teleport and then activated Book of Eclipse. Was there a point to that, or were you just kind of like showing off a bit?
Honestly, I had to check for Ash Blossom first. I mean, it sounds a bit weird, but like if he had Ash on my E-Tele, I was gonna just scoop immediately. So I just kind of wanted to like decrease the amount of actions that I would have to take the game in case he had it. Like just kind of. Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because they both compete, both being negated by Ash Blossom. So the second game was a lot quicker. So we could just have a little look at it. So I suppose there was one key moment, which was the Mold Charmy. So how do you feel about Mold Charmy? I guess it's a card you've probably been seeing a lot of this weekend.
This is the first time in Mold Charmy this entire weekend, which is weird considering my deck is mostly normal summons.
So you saw it and you chose not to do anything. So what led into your decision? Obviously, there was the Dimensional Fissure.
Okay, so just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. I actually did have a playable hand, but my playable hand would have included at least normal summoning once, and I had like 2 Lauras in hand, I think. And I just felt like I don't really have to do this. Yubel right now, the trend is going heavily towards displaying the hand trap package. So they're not really playing out the Di-Fi, and I know because like I think I had a Book of Eclipse set as well, and I had an Nibiru in hand, so I felt really safe. Just okay, you go. I know you have a bunch of dead hand trapped in hand. Mostly I had like 1 or 2 engine, and like it doesn't actually beat Di-Fi in a good way. I can just let you play.
Yeah, I mean, that made a lot of sense. Like, the Dimensional Fissure seemed to put in an awful lot of work in that game. It looked a little bit sad for the Yubel, you know, all of their cards getting banished, not getting that Phantom of Yubel back. So it looked very clean, and that decision worked out really well. So on the third game, obviously, you know, this was the big one. And we saw the Ghost Sister coming in with maybe like 10 minutes left, so we can see that being dropped.
I think it was 7 minutes even.
Oh, 11 minutes, there you go.
I thought it was 7 on the clock. Maybe I'm just confusing things.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the clock on the stream wasn't exactly the same as the one you were
I think I'm
seeing.
just confusing things. I think at this point, I don't think I was really paying attention to anything. I had the Book of Eclipse in hand. I knew nothing my opponent can do could possibly stop me from this point. So I had to play. I had to play as fast as possible. I can think about the repercussions later. I just play.
Sure. So did you have a plan immediately, or did you just kind of go and say, what's the kind of minimum, maximum I need to do in order to stop my opponent from playing whilst giving them the least number of life points?
Well, actually, at this point, I didn't really care about life points. Like, I know that my deck has such high damage output, I can easily wipe out. Even if I do full combo, I can wipe it out in 2 turns. So therefore, what I need to do is I need to establish a field that he cannot break. So that's basically it. So I knew that my link for Ulti Ray Tauri actually has some really neat functions against like the Yubel deck, which like makes them not be able to force your stuff. So you saw that he had a field of like 2 booked Yubel monsters from Eclipse, and he had the Muckraker. So I summoned monsters and I attacked the Muckraker first because that thing just had to go. He can tribute his. I think he can tribute his set Yubel. I'm not sure, but it wouldn't have mattered obviously because I could keep attacking it. But I actually had to flip his Yubel monsters face up. But I can only flip it face up after I have enough monsters to summon the Link 4. Because if I don't summon the Link 4, he can use the Phantom to negate. So first I have to summon like 4 or 5 monsters, whatever I had. And then I have to attack, have to flip his face up, otherwise it draws 2 in end phase, which is really bad for me. And then main phase 2, I can make the Link 4, and at that point he cannot target the Link 4 with Imperm because of Diffusion, and the Link 4 will beat Phantom. So I just set up as much as I can, I pass back, and then like remove all his stuff, and it worked, obviously, and then he passes back to me, and then I do as much damage as I can. I boost with Apelio, attack for like, I don't know, I think it was like 13,000 or something, and then same thing next turn.
Yeah, I mean, in the next clip, we kind of saw exactly what you were talking about with the Imperm here. So perhaps he didn't quite realize that it prevents the targeting. So has this kind of stuff been coming up over the weekend? We see both of your Link and Fusion monsters having these really nice interactions against the Yubel deck, preventing them from tributing, preventing them from targeting. Between that, it's kind of like a double lock, almost no way out.
Yeah, so it's actually well, there's 2 things I want to say here mainly. The first is that, like, yeah, the regional base deck does focus a lot on like Protoss and Colossus and stuff like that, but the engine itself is actually very sticky, and the engine itself has a lot of good ways to force your opponent into some very awkward like decision making. For example, this game, like, he had a set Imperm, he couldn't use it for the entire turn, even though I only had 2 starters in hand, he could not use it. Like, impossible to use it any way that ever mattered. And he made SP, and I knew like it also doesn't do anything. Like, I just chain Steeds, and then he chains SP, or he chains his sets, but he can only target Nokia, so then I just tag Nokia out into one of the regional beast monsters. Like,
yeah, and then we saw the Requiem try as well, and you go, okay, well, I still have this monster, you still can't tribute it. That must have felt pretty good. And then right at the end there, we just see you attacking for game. I mean, you had to get out the calculator to see how much damage it was. I mean, did you know, so the Paleo, they're giving all of your monsters 500 extra attack. I was wondering in my head whether you could almost do the 20,000 in one turn, but maybe not quite that much.
This game I sounded out the Inheritance, so you can actually use a Paleo up to 3 times per turn. But because I started out Inheritance says if 2 monsters summon at the same time, I can switch a battle position. So it's like a kind of neat thing you can do. You can use a Pelio to boost, and then you make it into Canahawk. You search a card, so you search a card and then summon back a Pelio, then boost again, and then you also trigger like the continuous spell that I sided out, and you can put it to attack, and then everything's like plus 1,000. But I didn't have that, so I had to make do. I knew 2 attacks would be enough to wipe out the life points, or at least put me so ahead he can't win.
Yeah, unfortunately, your opponent didn't have enough. They couldn't really do anything. You'd completely answered all of their cards, so it takes no time at all to go through that second battle phase. Well, I mean, congratulations, Herman. That was an absolutely fantastic game. I really enjoyed watching it. I hope you enjoyed playing it, and I hope everyone back home enjoyed watching it as well. So we're going to throw back over to Ed just to round up our day 1 of the stream.